Aloha and welcome. My name is Taylor Norris, and I'm a certified Galactic Astrology soul reader and Reiki master teacher. And in today's video, we will be exploring this Galactic Astrology soul mini reading for Priestess. Thank you so much for being here today. Before we dive into Priestess's information, I'd just like to give a brief overview of what is galactic astrology, and basically the point of it, its purpose, is to ask the most fundamental questions about an individual soul, a spirit, about creation, the nature of the multiverse and the universe and the cosmos and the earth, how it all fits together, the individual and the collective. Why are we here? Who am I? Where do I come from? What are all those past lives outlived in the galactic? How do those translate into my life now on Earth? What are my other earthly lives that are wanting to come through? What kinds of spirit guides, spiritual support team, galactic guides are available to me? What are my gifts and talents? Where am I headed next? What kinds of future life energies might be in my soul, in my spirit, in my field at this time? And it's a really, really exciting area of astrology and of soul reading. How I do these readings myself as a practitioner is that I first tune in through a Reiki journey that provides both healing and lots of information, lots and lots of channeled information. I verify this information with oracle cards, typically the Galactic Heritage cards by Lisa Royal Holt, sometimes other decks. Then, after I get an intuitive picture, I examine the natal chart and the galactic charts, and there are just so many different layers of information and healing that's happening across the entire soul history, wherever it is needed at this time for the person's highest good, the client's highest good. In today's mini reading, we're going to be focusing on the natal chart, the galactic charts, and some of the transits as well. So come with me through this portal. Come on in. Let's go. Let's explore. Let's dive deep. Let's see what we see what we learn, what wants to come through, what wants to be revealed, what wants to be transmitted. Now that we're in the quantum realm here, welcome. This is the space of no space and no time that I like to live in all the time. It is a flow space. So what we have on screen here is Priestess's natal chart with the transits as well. I couldn't help myself. Priestess just had a birthday. You could see that here with her sun at 22 degrees, 5 minutes of Libra. Up here in the top of her chart in the 10th house, conjunct her midheaven. This is a place where the sun can shine. And when you meet Priestess, you feel this from her. A natural radiance radiates from her. And it's Libra, so it's beautiful, it's aesthetic, it's artistic. Typically, when I see Priestess, she's dressed in a very beautiful way. She's striking, and this is definitely what the astrological chart is showing here as well. So she is a Capricorn rising. Capricorn is her rising sign, helping her be grounded. She has an emphasis of earth and water in her chart. So she tends to be grounded and practical, which is very helpful when we take a look at her galactic charts, and also with all the Scorpio energy as well, the channeling energy as well. It is helpful also with this Neptune-Uranus conjunction in her first house to be a Capricorn rising, able to think practically. See this also with the Taurus South Node, having a really deep connection to the earth as well. This all helps balance the watery nature, the sensitive and psychic and mystical nature of her beautiful Pisces moon here in the second house of self-love and her gifts and talents, her possessions. What makes her feel really comfortable is that feeling of spiritual satiation, communion with the divine, also being in a nice surrounding as well, a pleasing surrounding. Might not be what everybody else considers comfortable or luxurious, but to her, it's what makes her feel comfortable. And so self-love is definitely a big part of her path and what makes her feel valuable. Her self-worth, her value, really anchored in her spiritual connection here. I also want to point out a very striking element of her chart is this beautiful grand trine in Earth we see here, but it's not just a grand trine, it's actually a kite. So this grand trine is an energy of mastery in and of itself in the Earth signs, giving her gifts and talents and flows of energy between this Neptune-Uranus conjunction in her first house, which basically says, yes, she is psychic, she is intuitive, seeing the future, prophetic dreams, ahead of her time, outside the box, connected to the galactic as well, connected to spiritual community. Spiritual community gives her a sense of her identity as well. And so this is trining through harmonious flow of energy with her south node, as well as her black moon Lilith in Taurus. And so this gives her very grounding talents and sensibilities and that very deep connection with the earth, with the land, with the Aina, with Mother Nature, with the divine feminine, with sensuality, all these things that I know are important to Priestess. And so these energies in Taurus, Lilith is also her aspect of the dark feminine. And this is why figures like Pele and Kali and Durga and the dark goddesses I know that Priestess is also connected to and very aware of in her shadow work as well. She navigates those shadowy areas and anchors herself still in the light. These Taurian energies are trining through to her vertex and Chiron in Virgo, again signifying healing gifts, a lot of healing gifts, as well as gifts working with the land, with herbs, with the Aina, connecting to the earth, thinking practically, and also a love of travel. I mean, this is shamanic as well, very shamanic, international, intergalactic, shamanic energy also. And so what makes this a kite is that we have this grand trine, and on top of the grand trine is a grand sextile. And so this trine between the Virgo energies and the Capricorn energies, sextiles, makes a 60-degree, another harmonious aspect through to the South Node in Scorpio, or the North Node rather, in Scorpio, Venus retrograde in Scorpio, as well as Jupiter in Scorpio, all conjunct, all also explaining a lot why she is so drawn to the priestess archetype and embodiment, the divine feminine. This is Venus, Jupiter, okay, magnifying that divine feminine. And the North Node of the moon being about her soul evolution, her soul intentions in this life, very much being connected to the sacred embodiment of the divine feminine and bringing that out in the world, being known for that as well. This is 10th house, house of our career. And also it's Scorpio, so having an interest in transmutation, alchemical processes, ritual. I know that what lights up Priestess more than anything is a good ritual, a good ceremony, if it's connected to The moon, even better. If it's connected to an erupting volcano, even better. Connecting with the earth and the waters. And so this really completes out this kite formation. So it's really, really important for Priestess to do the energies at the tail of the kite. There's a chance for initiation and mastery of the earth and the water element, specifically Scorpio fixed water and all of the earth element in this lifetime. So this is a divine feminine initiation lifetime for Priestess. And so really diving into where you've come from, where you've been, allowing those memories to surface, doing the healing, the childhood healing, nurturing the inner child, giving space to the inner child, finding a safe space within your body for your soul and your spirit to reside, for your physicality, really creating safe space in your body, in your home, in your surroundings will be entirely helpful and supportive for you, as well as expressing this dark feminine goddess Lilith energy in the 5th house with love and joy and romance and play and your creativity, how you express yourself, allowing space for that dark feminine to be there, to be in the light, to not be expressing in a reactive or unconscious way, but to be expressing in a conscious way, which I know on your conscious spiritual path, that is what you're doing. That's what you're working on. So just beautiful. I mentioned here in this box some transits for Priestess that are coming up, what she can look forward to. On February 20th, we have transiting Chiron will be conjunct the transiting North node at 16 degrees Aries, 46 minutes. Now, this is happening for everybody. It will be happening in a different place in everybody's chart based on their houses and the positions of the signs in their own natal charts. For Priestess, this is happening right around her IC, so her roots, where she came from. And when we look at the galactic alignments, we see that her IC is actually conjunct Tau Ceti's star in Cetus constellation. So there's an opportunity here for a lot of information to drop in regarding her Cetus lineage, her Tau Ceti lineage, other soul aspects that may be linked to Tau Ceti star system. And this is a place in the cosmos that very likely has planets similar to Earth. And it's a very shamanic energy as well. In the sky, Cetus is the whale or the sea monster, sometimes depicted and seen as Tiamat, the goddess, as well. So this could also be ancient Mesopotamian, Babylonian lifetimes coming up into your awareness, times in Atlantis as well. These types of memories bubbling up and being healed and transformed and actually leading to quite a bit of soul growth and greater sense of integration and wholeness. On January 30th, you exactly have your Saturn return. So transiting Saturn has already made contact with your natal Saturn retrograde in Pisces. That will have happened earlier in 2023. Now, it's happening again January 30th. So notice what's happening in your field. We'll talk about Saturn later. Transiting Saturn will also be activating your moon in Pisces around February 23rd. So also paying attention to this. Saturn transit is going to be very interesting for you because it will continue beyond just what I've illustrated here with February 23rd, because as Saturn progresses further in Pisces, completes Pisces, In 2025, it will be making oppositions to your vertex, this karmic relational point, bringing in certain key people into your life, maybe leaders, authority figures, teachers, those kinds of things. So vertex will be activated by transit Saturn opposing the vertex, as well as your Chiron. So another deep level of healing, perhaps another certification or training program in the healing arts at this time. That's in 2025. We'll see what you do, Priestess. We'll see what comes through. On March 20th, transit Jupiter will be conjuncting your natal south node, really expanding the past life energies, childhood energies, where you've come from earlier in this lifetime, as well as past lives. You may have teachers and connections. There might be travel related to past lives, travel related to your childhood happening at this time, an expansion of your awareness and learning, and choosing not to repeat old patterns, but expand into new growth. This could be a lot of gifts and talents coming from your deep past, karmic merits, karmic gifts, karmic blessings as well, also being received. That transit Jupiter will also be moving on and activating Black Moon Lilith, so the dark feminine goddess energy in your 5th house of love and romance and creativity. How you express Lilith and the dark feminine may be expanded and highlighted. And Jupiter will then be moving on and entering Gemini, hitting up your part of fortune. This is where it works for you in your chart. And your part of fortune is connected to Pleiadian energy. So this could bring in a significant feeling of connectivity, communication, messages from Pleiadian soul aspects, future life Pleiadian soul aspects coming into your awareness, and Jupiter really just depositing gifts and blessings into your part of fortune. So definitely be looking forward to that as well. So April 8th, there is also a total solar eclipse at 19 Aries, 22 minutes. This is again conjunct the IC, bringing into your awareness new healing beginnings in terms of your roots, your connection to Tau Ceti and Cetus constellation. It will also be highlighting, will be opposing your sun. So this could be activating your career, your public reputation, your personal energy, and it could also be expanding you quite a bit psychically, a lot of new downloads and integrations and possibilities, and a new beginning also in terms of your home as well. So looking forward to see what that total solar eclipse, it's going to be very powerful for all of us, but for you, it happening in your roots, in your 4th house of home, your inner world, your foundation, that will be very profound as well. Looking now at your galactic charts, this comes from galacticastrochart.com. I recommend this website to everybody who wants to create charts like this, looking at what constellations and what stars are aligned to their natal planets and points in their chart. And the galacticastrochart.com is thanks to Julia Balaz, Hector, and now another team member called Tim, who are really working to make this galacticastrochart.com calculator better and better. I cannot wait for the new upgrades. It's very, very exciting. What we see here for Priestess on the left-hand side is which star constellations are either conjunct, a 0-degree aspect, or opposite, 180-degree aspect, her sun and her planets and her significant points in her chart. And these are the strongest alignments. These are powerful. They suggest that she had incarnations within these star systems. So it wasn't just like a spirit guide or she visited. She actually has soul experience in these constellations. So we see that they include Virgo, Boots, Canis Major, Lyra, Andromeda, Cetus, the Galactic, Virgo again, repeating, Piscis Austrinus, Cygnus, Lyra, Perseus, Centaurus, Pleiades, and again Centaurus. So Priestess, you're definitely a multi-galactic soul. And when we look at which stars specifically are aligned to your planets and your points, I understand why we are friends. I really do, because you have some beautiful star love. I mean, it just makes so much sense knowing you and seeing which stars you're aligned to. It's just like, yeah, of course your sun conjunct Spica star. This is like the divine feminine goddess star. Very, very beautiful Virgo constellation, the harvest goddess. Priestess is very, very talented with the earth and with nature. And like I said, a real example of the divine feminine. She's got her ascendant conjunct Vega star in Lyra, and it's also opposite Sirius A star in Canis Major. So definitely connections to ancient Egypt, to Isis, as far as Earth, and the ascended masters of the Sirius star system. Very high consciousness. It's been working with the Earth for a long time. And Vega star, again, this would be that divine feminine, being on a committed spiritual path and loving ritual, spending so much time in meditation, in withdrawal, in yoga, going inward, all your different spiritual practices and rituals that I know you're always doing, y'all. She is a great example of Vega star, and even the type of souls that are linked to Vega and this Lyra Ring Nebula, which is where her Uranus-Neptune conjunction is. There's a type of soul that's very like elemental and fairy-like and is linked to this Lyra Ring Nebula, very high frequency, angelic frequency, gifted with crystals. And this is very much how Priestess is. So to see that that's where your Uranus-Neptune conjunction is, it also points to your ability to use the Lyra Ring Nebula as a portal, as a galactic doorway. And you're also so aware of portals in your daily life. This is definitely why, because this energy is in your first house as well, making you yourself a portal for others to the higher realms and other dimensions of their experience as well. I won't say things about each of these stars, but I could, and that's definitely why a full reading would be really fun to do as well. Some of the other stars she's connected to, Almach star and Andromeda, just briefly again, she's a fairy. Y'all, Priestess is a fairy. Another thing I could have called Priestess is fairy. Fairy Priestess would be a good thing to say. And that South Node conjunct Almach star and Andromeda, it's like you are a fairy, you were a fairy, you come from fairies, you have a fairy lineage. So Jupiter, the transit, will be activating the fairy energy definitely for you and bringing more awareness to what is Andromeda for you. What is your Andromeda and soul connection? So the ICR already mentioned is conjunct Tau Ceti Cetus constellation. That would mean also the midheaven is then opposite Tau Ceti Cetus constellation, because the midheaven is the top of the chart, the IC is the bottom of the chart. Her Mercury is conjunct the Shapley Attractor, and this is one of the galactic black hole points we look at. This is like the biggest black hole galactic point we look at. And this, again, this is just like explains why Priestess is really good at channeling pretty much anything she needs or wants to channel at any given time. and why really refining and learning some skills and how to turn that on and off is definitely very important for Priestess's functioning. Her Mercury is also conjunct Sirius star in Virgo. This also would have been why the eclipse we just had, the lunar eclipse in Taurus, will have been a big activation and shining a light on these energies for Fairy Priestess, her new name. Saturn is aligned to Piscis Austrinus, Royal Star Fomalhaut, Cygnus constellation, Shamanic star Deneb Adige. I'll show you that in just a moment. Uranus Neptune conjunct the Lyra Ring Nebula. I already mentioned that. Pluto is opposite Algol star in Perseus constellation. This is very, very, very interesting and would suggest that more dark feminine soul connection. And this would be an energy I'd be happy to go into with you in a full soul reading. This is where I would really need to open up the soul records with a Reiki journey and see what this is about. That's a very deep thing to be looking into. Her Lilith is opposite Beta Centauri star in Centaurus constellation. Again, this is why Fairy Priestess loves her rituals so much. Centaurus constellation connected to Chiron, connected to the ritual, to the sacrifice, the healer, teacher, mentor. Chiron going to the altar, preparing to make a sacrifice. And her part of fortune is conjunct many of the stars of the Pleiades and opposite Alpha Centauri star in Centaurus constellation. So again, connected to her love of rituals as well. And this Pleiadian energy, like I said, Jupiter next year will be highlighting and expanding this energy for you, which in all likelihood is a future life energy you can be tapping into, and also galactic contact being something that would be very beneficial for you and would be part of your soul intentions for this lifetime. The alignments I chose to talk about are based on the fact that Fairy Priestess is in her Saturn return, and this is a rite of passage in and of itself. And this is why also I would strongly recommend that Fairy Priestess not be afraid of Saturn at all, because my dear friend, my dear soul sister, you have a very magical Saturn. Of all the stars that Saturn could be aligned to, these are two of my favorite stars. I say that every time I talk about these stars. I have other favorites too, but these are definitely favorite stars of mine. So Saturn is conjunct Royal Star Fomalhaut here in the fish's mouth, drinking the waters from Aquarius's urn here. So the cosmic seed, the seeds of creation, the waters of creation, this cosmic fertility, this Christ consciousness energy as well. It's linked to Archangel Gabriel. Again, this is why channeling is so easy for you. Gabriel is the divine messenger. This is why channeling Reiki energy and any other type of energy, whether you're channeling verbally or non-verbally, this is like you are a healer, you are a shaman here, seeing Saturn aligned to these two stars. I know you already know that, but this is definitely confirming that. Deneb Adige star in Cygnus, the Swan constellation, is called the Shaman star. And I have a picture here of Palenque, Mexico, which has a temple that is aligned to this Cygnus constellation in Deneb Adige. And this constellation has been aligned in different astro architecture across the world. A temple at Palenque is just one example, and this is an example of a pre-Diluvian society. So this could have been a society pre-Atlantean times. This could be a society, a culture that was actually in Lemurian times as well. So Cygnus, in terms of galactic history, was also a constellation, a star system, an area within the Milky Way galaxy where Lyran souls actually migrated to create a utopian, a perfect society. So this would have been something you would have been involved in and been a real leader and an authority in the creation of this society. And you would have also seen some challenges there. Really be open in the Saturn return to what is the meaning of a perfect society for you? What does that look like? And what can you discover and uncover from your own soul history and your own soul records about kind of where things have gone wrong in the past, what your soul has been involved in, like how has it been done in the past, what seeds and jewels and gems can be harvested, and then what needs to be set aside and forgotten about and upgraded into the new. Really, really beautiful energy to be tapping into. And I chose this card for Royal Star, Fomalhaut, Gabriel, and Bliss, because I know Bliss is something you definitely embody and experience and cultivate in your life. And there are many different cards and themes for Gabriel from my angel card decks, but this was one of the cards. Grace is another one, and I think really fits very well for you. One other thing I'll say about Fomalhaut is because it is a royal star, this says that you have a chance in this lifetime to be very successful, even to achieve fame and glory and status in this lifetime. It's very, very important for you that you maintain and retain the purity of your ideals and of your visions. And as you do this, that assures that your success is something that you can cultivate and grow and build upon, rather than it's something that's then taken from you. So really continuing to check in to yourself, do it in a Saturnian way, step by step. I know you know this, to not get ahead of yourself and to allow this to ripen for you, because Saturn is also the elder planet, which is why Saturn moon, like you feel like a grandma. That's why. Okay, you are a grandma. That's okay. Grandma in a much younger body. And so knowing that this fame and this success and this glory, it might come later on, and to just keep creating that foundation, building your skills, building your mastery from your own memory, and then your learning and your growth in this lifetime as well. So thank you so much for being here. There's so much more we could dive into for Fairy Priestess, but I'll leave it there for today. If you like this video, please like it, share it, subscribe, comment, let me know your thoughts. And when you are ready for a Galactic Astrology soul reading, you know where to find me. I'm at TaylorNorrisReiki.com. Looking forward to connecting with you, soul to soul, spirit to spirit, guiding you home to heaven on earth within yourself through Reiki and astrology. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo.